Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Percy Lynchard, and I'm a candidate for the Mississippi Supreme Court for the Northern District of Mississippi. There are many things that I'd like to tell you about myself, and I've decided that the most important thing I can tell you is this. I had the good fortune to be raised by Christian parents in a Christian home, and I was taught to love God, my country, and my state in that order. I believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and because of that, I will never perish but have everlasting life. Now, of all the things I can tell you about myself, that is the number one thing that you should know, because that fact impacts every decision I make as a judge today and will make as a justice on the Mississippi Supreme Court if I'm fortunate enough to be elected. And while I respect all religions, I make that statement without any reservation and without any apology to anyone. And if that offends you, then I'm sorry. I'm not sorry for saying it because I mean every word of it, but I'm sorry that it offends you. I was born and raised in the Mississippi Delta, the son of a sharecropper. And accordingly, I don't have a political pedigree, but you may rest assured that I'm as proud of my family heritage as is any one of you. My wife and Vanessa and I have been married for 39 years. We have 2 children and 2 grandchildren. So I have earned every gray hair which you see on this 64-year-old head. I'm a graduate of Delta State University with a BSc in Social Sciences, and I obtained my license to teach. However, I decided to attend law school at Ole Miss. But I have all the admiration in the world for our teachers who, these days, are forced to be pseudo-parents, social workers, psychologists, as well as teachers, and yet they are still underpaid. And while in school, I earned money by painting houses, reading electrical meters for a power company, working on a pipeline, as well as working as a roustabout on an offshore oil rig. So I know a thing or two about physical labor, and I have the utmost respect for those that do it for a living. I believe the Second Amendment is one of the most important amendments that we have in the Constitution. I'm a gun owner, a concealed carry permit holder, and I held a firearms dealer license for 12 years. I'm an avid hunter, and I thoroughly believe that if you hunt with children when they are young, you're not likely to hunt for them when they grow older. I believe that the American veteran is a true American hero, and he should always be treated as such. That we can never do enough to repay them for their service, no matter how hard we may try. And I've been given the honor of speaking at many veteran celebrations, and I never grow tired of that. So if you are a veteran, thank you for your service. God bless you wherever you go, because you are my hero. I believe our law enforcement personnel are overworked, underpaid, and underappreciated. They stand on that thin blue line in support of law and order, and they whisper in our ear, "Nothing is going to harm you today, not on my watch." And anyone who considers defunding or dismantling our police force is asking for tragic consequences of catastrophic proportions. Now, are there bad cops? Absolutely. Just as there are bad doctors, ministers, teachers, and judges. But all are not bad, and the law, when it is allowed to run its course, will sufficiently deal with those bad apples, because our system of law and justice is by far the fairest and most complete as anywhere in the civilized world. So if an officer has broken the law, he should be prosecuted, because the badge does not make him above the law he is charged with enforcing. My judicial oath of office requires me to administer justice and do equal right to the poor and to the rich. So there are no social classes in my courtroom. My decisions and judgments have always been and will continue to be colorblind as to race. And I believe that racial discrimination is a plague upon the people of this state and nation that must be eradicated just as certainly as COVID-19. All the duties and responsibilities along with the privileges given us by our laws should be equally shared in all respects. After all, we are all brothers and sisters in Christ. For the past almost 26 years, I've had the honor of serving as Chancery Judge for the 3rd Chancery District. And prior to being elected judge, I served as County Prosecutor for DeSoto County, prosecuting those who insisted on living outside the law, and worked particularly close with deputies of the Sheriff's Department as well as troopers of the Mississippi Highway Patrol. As a judge, I've personally witnessed the trauma that people go through when their lives are interrupted by court proceedings. I've made decisions that affected people for the rest of their lives, but I've done it only after hearing the evidence presented and applying the law to those facts, regardless of the consequences of the outcome. I've done my best to be fair to all those concerned, though the losing party in every lawsuit or case might disagree, because unfortunately some people interpret a fair judge as one who rules in their favor. But such is not the case. You know, there are basically 3 types of cases that come before the Mississippi Supreme Court, with very little exception. Number 1, criminal cases where one has been convicted of a crime. Number 2, civil cases where one has sued another for money for their damages. And 3, cases involving family law, such as divorce, child support, custody and visitation, adoption, or estate matters. And while there's certainly no shortage of crimes committed today, I doubt that many of you watching now have ever been convicted of a crime or hopefully not been the victim of such. I also doubt that any large portion of those watching have ever been involved in lawsuits for money that was appealed or might have been appealed to the Supreme Court. But how many of you have been involved in a divorce, a child custody or visitation matter, an adoption or an estate matter involving a deceased relative? Chances are many of you have in some capacity. My point is this: the Supreme Court desperately needs more justices who are experienced in family and estate matters. Currently, only one justice has served as a Chancery Court judge, and she served for a period of 5 years. I would bring 26 years, more than 5 times that experience, that would be invaluable to the court in serving the needs of you, the citizens of Mississippi. And with that, I would consider it a great honor to have you vote for me, Judge Percy Lynchard, on November the 3rd of this year for the Mississippi Supreme Court.